This week's episode of PJ and Dak's Real Football Podcast is brought to you by Mystery Shirts UK. Mystery Shirts are an online platform that provide you with random football strips from across the globe. We search high and wide to give you as much choice as possible, from Atalanta to Shakhtar Donetsk and everything in between. Tell us your size, which clubs to avoid, and we'll do the rest. Whether you're after a gift for a football fan, fancy a new shirt for five-a-side, or maybe just want to add to your own collection. Whatever it is, Mystery Shirts have you covered. Boxes are available at www.mysteryshirts.co.uk. That's www.mysteryshirts.co.uk. Why not order yours today?
How you doing, everybody? Welcome to episode 18, I think it is. We're getting that many. I'm starting.
Look, hold on. PG said I was away for a hair transplant last week, man.
Done well, mate.
You like that, mate? I bought chop job in Turkey. I just go, mate. You like that?
But then we get turkey teeth next.
Sorry, mate. I made you.
Sorry.
My teeth are alright.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome to episode 18 of PG and Dak's Real Football Podcast. This is something a wee bit different tonight. Something that we've wanted to do for a while. It's a Division 4 special. Something we're going to continue through the rest of the conferences in the Premier League. We're very fortunate to be joined tonight by St Peter's manager Paul McTaggart, Blair the Finnart manager, Keith Gibson, the Row manager, and Ryan DeKeel, coach at Ashfield.
What's that?
You took half the rest of it.
What's happening there? Hey, I'll put my wee tash down.
Also, get something else. Maxie doesn't really count on this one. Taggy's the first return guest we've had as well.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Right, with Taggy. Taggy now, because it's his second show, I'll turn up in a trackie.
Aye.
At least Brian and Keith have made a bit of effort there.
Best
Not I mean.
compliment we've had of anybody on the
Taggy's
show.
I'm sticking the trackie on.
Can I back myself up? I was doing it the younger boys earlier on there,
Right.
doing it the other training sessions.
Yeah,
That's why
you
I
were in
came
Switzerland
Danny's back. Danny's back for the club.
That's what I've came straight for
You're
there,
new
lads.
on my committee members. Your job's on the line if you're not doing that kind of stuff, right? Keep that in mind.
No, but on that Division 4, I said it the other day on the roundup show. I think we do talk a lot about the bigger clubs, and sometimes that happens because the magnitude of the games and that, but it's good to get the boys on. It'll be good to hear a wee bit about their clubs and see what path they're going, and just to have a good chat about Division 4, because I'll be honest, I don't know hunters about it, so it'll be good to sit and try and find out as much as I can about the division, so it'll be good.
Really?
Looking forward to it, boys.
I know he's already.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
And they're all being dead friendly, man. I can't even start arguing. I want arguing and fighting, and I want Twitter wars.
You've been fair. What we can do is we can just cover it. Both sides in between the two red and blacks.
Oh, then it is. I got to
Brilliant.
Right, so that was a nice touch. How we'll start. This will be a bit different with the more established teams. What I would like you to do is talk a wee bit about your clubs. Just give people a wee bit of background info, because people might not know a great deal about you. So Keith, we'll start with yourself. Just a wee bit about the club.
Okay, well, I mean, I think we're probably best known for the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson is an old boy of the club. He's our patron. An old Govan-based club, obviously, but we're not in Govan now. We're actually in Braehead now, unfortunately. But well, don't tell anyone about that.
Outer Govan.
Is that considered Renfrewshire?
I think technically, but let's not go there. Yeah, so another Renfrewshire derby for you guys. Yeah.
Oh, there we go then.
So 1915 established. So we had our centenary about, well, obviously 5-6 years ago, and Sir Alex visited us about a year and a half ago with our new pitch as well. So we just relayed the whole pitch up at Harmony Row, and in the last 3 or 4 years we've gone from 250 or so playing members up to somewhere over 400 now. Actually, really grown a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. A lot of effort right across the club. We've got 4-year-olds all the way through to over 35s now, walking football, 3 women's teams. We've got an adult women's team, another 13s, under 15s. So the club has just gone from strength to strength in terms of sheer volume, And for us, this was the natural next step. We got second year of our under 21s as a team, because I've been with the same team all the way from 12-year-old all the way through. And we just thought, what next? And all the boys were saying, what next? Why aren't we doing this? If there's a chance to go up and do this, can we not just do it? So we just tried, and the opportunity was there. And great that there's a development league as well. It's not straight into the kind of the lion's den, as it were. So there's an opportunity to play against like-minded teams, which is great.
Excellent. What about yourselves, Brian? Because I know your old man started for that.
My old man started it in 1979, so 42 years.
Good to see that his boy's still taking the legacy on it.
I know.
That's good.
He's still involved. I only taken all the team. I played for years with him. Played a wee bit of senior to junior. I played a year with Glenafton. Then joined the pals basically. Basically my pal started getting into the team. So that's where I've left junior and you wanted to join your pals. And
baby sessions, Brian.
You miss it. Talk about
wanted the days in the night suit, mate.
and the memories.
Yes,
and I've made a lot. I've won 4 Scottish Cups with Finnart as a player and captain, which is great.
Impressive,
I think just because it's my dad's team, innit?
must have been able to play, mate. Must have been able to play,
I've
mate.
done alright, but a lot of good players. Boys that have Mick Kennedy played. Don't we know Big McD?
No McD, aye.
They all played in our teams. Big McD was involved in the Hamner Row Scottish Cup winning teams
He was in the
too.
teams that we played against and all we were talking about half year.
And we're the same as him. Mini kickers are a way through. And we're in the process of trying to get a lease down at Glasgow Green to Baldwin Community Hub so we can generate everything down at Glasgow Green. We're actually playing at Swinburne Park at the moment. It's only 10 minutes up the road, but it's 10 minutes away from your local community.
Yeah.
So that's our next plan of action. Get that lease sorted to Baldwin.
And I know Brian was saying and all that they're thinking about putting a social club there.
I think
What
that's
a social club that'd be with the Finnart mob.
Definitely.
Know what I mean?
That'd be the best thing.
Maybe
Just try to get the boys for training on the Monday or Tuesday. But
But the thing is, they can always do the quick cool session and get that cooler in on Monday.
Just leave their bags.
Tell the missus that training's 3 years, not.
And I think a wee PG and Dak night could open the club for them. It'd be smashing.
Well, listen, mate, you just need to watch me. I'll look after you down there.
Whatever that. Do it for no problem. Paul, we've obviously spoken to yourself before. You've been on the show before. Like I said, second time appearance.
Yes.
But for anybody that's not seen it, could you tell us a wee bit about St Peter's?
St Peter's obviously started in 1984, Paisley based side from Glenburn. And again, the club was started at the time just to give, back then it was 11 boys something to do because there was nothing to do in the Glenburn area. I was one of the 11 boys. So it's grew since then, it's obviously grew, and like Hamner Row, we're up now over 500 kids taking part. We've got a multi-sport thing as well, where we've got the netball team involved as well. So
No disrespect, but fuck netball, this is football.
listen, some of your netball lasses are decent at football as well.
Listen,
so,
any of them heated a ball, because I'll take them to Ashfield.
Listen, I'm looking at one for a centre half now, you're on the comes with. But again, we're in the same route as these guys here, where we're going to be looking to build our own park, because right now we're sharing with Renfrew. Juniors who have been brilliant with us, letting us use New Western Park. But we've got an asset transfer for more done, where we're going to build our own park, where we're looking at one for the senior team and another part for the rest of the club to train on a national on the grass, and everybody can use both at that point in time. So it's going to take a wee bit of time, going to take a wee bit of building, but starting for that 11 boys to give them something to do to where it is now. There's a lot of volunteers been all the way through the club that have done it all, and everybody should be proud of what they've done. And the way it's going to progress will be a lot more will be there by the time I'm finished and you're finished, Paul, on it and stuff, and it's about building for the future. And that's what it's about. It's about the kids, the mini kickers we're talking about, the now at 5 and 6. Everything will be done by the time they're at that 11 aside time. And it'll be good to see that at that point in time. So that's where we are.
I think something that's, obviously I know the story with you being mates and stuff, that you were part of the very first team, and it's fitting that you're the first ever manager of the senior team. Didn't realise that until we spoke after that your dad was the man that started it, so it's very fitting that his boy takes the first senior team, and you've had your boys all the way through. So for me, it's nice for people to see that this isn't just some committee have come to you and says, look, do you want to take this job? There's actual feeling there where you're a Hamner Row man, you're a Finnart man, you're a St Peter's man. And I think talking about for the mini kickers stuff and that, and it's something that we've had a lot of conversations about. That's something we spoke about half air, is how we're getting the Waynes down to watch and stuff and getting their parents down. It's a full generation of people who will support the club. Maybe it'll not be their main team, it might be St Mirren if it's for Paisley or Celtic Rangers or whatever, you know what I mean? Or the Ants if it's for Govan. But it's good that you've got that there, and you're talking about these 4 or 5 year olds. 15 years' time, that could be boys that make the bulk of your team.
That's the main reason.
Aye,
Absolutely.
We had the
That's why we
chance.
do
This came up, and it was the main opportunity just to develop the club to another level. And it helps for a young team because it gives them something.
Exactly.
It gives them. It's not just got a level. I'm not good enough. I want. There's always a path to play football. Because we've got an amateur side, so
Absolutely.
all the way right through. So if you're not good enough for some level, you'll get your level, and you'll play there. So they're constantly playing.
We had something the other day that it's, and as you're saying, it's giving them now something to aim at. We were the same as you as amateurs up to then, and then we thought the same as Hamley Row. Why do we know? We've thought about it for years with the junior stuff, and we would put a team in, and it was at the right time. The opportunity appeared, and we thought, you know what, we're going to go for it. But we had something. It was a couple of games ago now, and it was one of the younger guys had come up to get an autograph off one of our players.
Brilliant.
No, it's genuinely, but see it happening.
No, it's nice,
it's
man.
Stingy, but don't get us wrong, I wouldn't have went to him. So,
Who did he go to?
I'm not telling you.
No,
I'm not telling you it's Aaron, right?
That's right.
Remember, so,
Look at you. Just somebody sees this. He's got a bad back and he's dodging his work now and that. So just so you know. But see it. It's good because that's one who younger kids.
Well, we found something really interesting. We've replaced the whole kit right across the club from 4-year-old. So everybody's got the same. So the kids are playing in the same kit. They're training in the same kit. They're on Saturdays, Sundays, whenever they're playing, it's all the same kit. What a difference it's made because the kids, these 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds are coming along games with the Harmony Road, same top as the adult team's wearing. It makes a massive difference. That kind of feeling of belonging.
Tell you what, it sounds all amazing, man, and I love it. But this is how I buy wee things like I see when we lose a game down at Anfield, mate. I'm putting things on the list for my motors. They get tanned in that. Me and Max here running out going, don't tan our windows, don't tan the motors. But the big thing for me, I was talking about it, I love listening to it. It's the ambition that you've all got for me that I'm impressed with, because he's only just coming in and going, oh, we're happy to play at this level, and we just want to compete, and we just want to be a team that's regarded a semi-professional West of Scotland League team. You've all got plans, and you're working hard behind the scenes to try and take the club's on. You're wanting to try and take it higher. And I'll be honest with you, the things that you've got in place would probably put some of the clubs that's already in there, it would probably put them to shame a wee bit, because I think the good thing that the new clubs have got is they've got that excitement, the new, fresh, whereas for a lot of older clubs it's harder to try and generate that interest. It's stale. Some of the older committee members are now either sadly passed away or can't quite give the commitment that they were once doing, and try to get younger members. So for yourselves, I think it's going to be, in a few years' time, I think some of the Division 4 clubs are going to come up and they're going to make a mark on it.
I mean, genuinely, I think you guys are the same. I think we're a youth club who've added a senior club, as opposed to the other way around. Not a senior club looking for a youth system. Yeah. And that makes them, just for me, it's kind of as the natural next step for what we're doing.
I think some of the games have been good games. I think the standard's good. I think people would underestimate the standard.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I think
I've actually, it's took me as well, we've spoken about this as well, where you're thinking it's the development class, as the development league that we're in, and you think to yourself, a lot of teams have maybe took their amateur side and brought it up, or their 21s and brought it up, and people weren't really sure how it was going to. There's been some cracking games with some really, really good football played in it.
But there's been a few cup games in that, because you were saying, Brian, Fairbairn, you played Rutherglen, wasn't he?
Wasn't much between. First off, nothing in between us. Then it was a mistake, 47th minute or so. One nothing down. It was just that deflation with the boys. I could actually see it happening.
You implode, didn't you?
Then it was just another mistake. Then that was a difference.
And you seen Kilsyth, did they not take St Cadoc's take extra time and all that?
See, I don't know how it was for you, and even yourself not spoke about it. But see, when I saw that, I was like, brilliant. I was like, that's excellent.
I was watching on Twitter.
I was delighted for Kilsyth. I was like, that's because that's teams like yous have beaten them. We've both lost to them, but it's been tight games and stuff. And you're like, that shows that we're not a million miles away from. I'm not saying St Cadoc's are a far better team than everybody in our league, but we're not a million miles away from that. And you look at when we do a roundup, some of the teams who are really hard seasons because they're in leagues that they, in a sense, shouldn't be in because it's not their level. There's certain teams there that is our level. where if there was a Conference C or Division 3, whatever it was, we could all go and be competitive against 6 or 7 of these teams. And it's something we're going back to about potentials for next year or whatever, but it just shows that there's good quality in our league. There's a lot of mistakes happening because teams are getting put together and kind of getting pieced together and that, but it's just got to take time for boys to get to know each other, because we've put a full team together that don't know a lot of the boys, and it takes time. But we'll start with yourself on this one, Paul. How have you felt it's been coming into this setup? How has it kind of been what you expected, or has it been different? What's your feelings been with?
Has he been fair with having played at that level as well? Nothing really has changed much over the years. See, regardless of it, it's still the same coming in. The difference you've got now is you're going to like Renfrew's Park. It's a better park than some of the older junior grounds that you used to play on and stuff like that. And I think when we were talking there about us starting up and the way things are going for the future, it's just they start up at some place at some point in these teams that are decent and good now. They started at that point, but they've not just managed to get in together. We're quite lucky that we're starting where we are and we've got no bad grounding. So I wouldn't say it's been easy to come into it, because there has been difficulties, you know yourself, with trying to get the team from scratch and stuff and get the players in and build the team round about it, and it's hard trying to keep them, especially at this time as well with COVID still been a big party. We've been knocked out twice with it. We've been 3 times. Well, 3 times, sorry. When you look at it that way, and so that's been I think managing that has been the most difficult thing, and try to keep people fit, because when they come back into it straight away, we were talking beforehand and saying that the players weren't fit when we kicked off the season because we kicked it off early doors. I can see the reasoning behind why they kicked off early doors, but the boys not been fit. There's a lot of injuries that you pick up, so that was the hardest thing in trying to keep that going. And at other parts is trying to pick up again stuff like extra staff when you're looking for extra coaches, physios, stuff like that. We've been quite fortunate now that we've drawn in with the ones that we've got, the couple of girls that we brought in to help us out. So that's been the hardest bit. Not really the football side. The football side, it takes care of itself, if you know what I mean, once it's there, but it's everything else. It's been harder coming in, trying to get the staff, trying to keep the players fit, all that sort of stuff. And it's maybe no stuff when we've done it with the younger age groups, because I was the same with Keith. I was at the same age group as Keith, coming all the way through.
No way, is Keith, aye? Keep that quiet. You must have had a few ding dongs here.
You've been fair, no, and being fair.
That's how we stuck Brian in the middle. Shut up.
But that guy that's with the rose gun.
But it's not much has changed, Keith. I think you would agree with coming through when we look at how it's played. It's just it's the different level now that we're at, and that's been the most difficult thing. With the way it's done, and the different rules that you've got as well, because everyone's obviously going through the SFA with your registrations and stuff like that. And for as much as people try and you're not really guided, so it's kind of you're learning. Well, I'm glad in saying I'm not learning myself. I keep getting the stuff coming back saying rejected, but it's not on me. It's on the secretary, Paul Mooney. It's grassing now, but it's on him, and it's silly stuff. So, but it's frustrating stuff as well, because you're trying your best to everything up and going. So that side, it was the most difficult for us, I think, looking at it that way.
What about yourself, Brian?
I totally agree there. The football on the player side, it for me has been easy. So I've just turned and said it's on our level, and the boys have upped it a wee bit. The hardest thing is trying to change your mentality for amateur to semi-pro. Whatever. That's been my hardest, to try to change your mentality with the boys. Behind the scenes, been lucky to get people to do my paperwork, and I just phone up and say, right, there's these details, go and do racks. I wouldn't have a clue how to do that, to be honest. I've got people behind the scenes that do that. It's just get what he's saying, get more coaches involved. I need that. I need more help with that side of it.
Because what's your set up now at it? Is it just you taking it?
Me, I've got another boy in. I've had a couple in the now at the start of the season, but it's just commitment. You can't always get commitment. So I've got a boy that's joined us now, Phil McTaggart, who's done a wee bit junior, played with us for years at amateur. Went away to junior with Canvas Lang and East Kilbride and a few others, and I've got him back in to help me. So he's come in. I've got a physio in. He's a Glasgow City girls physio, so he helps me when he's not with them. And behind the scenes, it's a committee. So we've got a big committee in the club. Then we're trying to set up just a senior committee, just to deal with the senior side of it. because obviously we're up at Springburn Park, so I need to go up at 10 in the morning to start doing the banners round the park, to build the dugouts, and just stuff like before I'm going.
It's not something that you're wanting to. Let's be honest, it's not something you're wanting to do when you're trying to think about a kick-off at 2 o'clock. Totally get that, because that's what we're getting at. That's what sometimes at Ashfield that we've been doing. Like after the game on Saturday, we've just been beat 4-2 off Thornleywood, and there's me and wee Isa taking the goals down, putting the dugouts away, sweeping the dressing rooms, cleaning down the stands, and you're sitting going,
I don't want to do that.
fucking raging.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
I went home in even worse mood because I was going. Know that I'm trying to be arrogant and ignorant, thinking somebody else has got to do that, but we're not just football managers now. You've got to do other things.
So you're saying that, not quite to the extent of shooting down the stand, but couple of games where you had to work and stuff, and myself and Gav were taking the team, and it was after we lost to Coolside. So, I mean, you know what I'm like at Phil. I was in a stinker of a mood, and I struggle to control myself at times. It's ridiculous the way I behave at times. Probably the best way I step back. But I'm in the dressing room having to pick up all the rubbish and all that. Me and Gav are doing it, cleaning it up, and it's right, you say you just want to go home, but because you don't have the committee in the background, you need to get it done.
Not having had to go at anybody.
No, it's
for the few people that we've got at the club, they work tirelessly, not I mean, but at the same time it's more than just football.
That's the main thing. If I get that, I've got boys at hell, but you need more.
Aye.
In a home game I probably need 10 people easily, just behind the scenes, no even count the football side of it, behind the scenes side of it, regarding doing the banners, dugouts,
even taking money at the door, stuff
money
like
at the door.
Silly stuff.
I'm glad Brian touched on the professionalism. Just came into me there when you were in Finnart, amateurs were off, and Brian had Wilson was up playing for us.
Captain.
Wilson, top lad,
Jemba.
very attitude is spot on. Wilson,
Brilliant.
Jemba, but right, Jemba, right. We were playing a game, mate. We were playing a game, and it was a 2 o'clock kick-off. And we're like, where's Jemba? And we're out doing the warm-up. And the next minute he came walking in this like he comes in the stadium, mate, with his bag, and we're going, what happened, Jemba? It's just a 2 o'clock kick. He's like, slept in, mate.
That's him, man.
We were sitting, the boys were doing the warm-up, and the boys have turned around each hand and goes, did he just say he fucking slept in? The next minute he's come out and he's expecting to play.
Aye.
I'm like, hey, you're half your nut. You've fucking slept in for a 2 o'clock kick-out. He goes, set my alarm for 12 o'clock and it didn't go off. I'm going, who even sleeps to 12 o'clock, man?
It's actually meant for an
Unbelievable.
He's a good player too.
He's very good, I know.
See, for me,
Very good
in terms
player.
of technical ability, he's got to be one of the best in our league.
See, to be honest,
very tidy.
He's probably serious, but he's been poor for us.
Aye.
I don't know if he's trying to overdo it, you know what I'm talking about. He thinks, like, I know I'm decent, but he's trying to try too hard. Is that why you can just say, just play your game? He's trying to do too hard, I think. I'm like that sometimes, just play your own game. As if he's trying to overdo it sometimes.
I mean, honestly, just when you said that, I was going, I hope Jemba's ended up hanging, man, because when he turned up, man, I'm sure it was a 2 o'clock kick-out when he was
That's him.
But Wilson on the other hand, Wilson was
Never
absolute. Wilson was magic, man. He's a
I
great
had a
boy.
couple when amateur football stopped. I had Jemba, Wilson at Hughes. I had Big Jordan, Dick Kelly at the Ants. So I had about, I think all night 5 or 6 players out to other teams.
Yeah.
And it gave them that wee taste of it.
Aye.
And it was them like, can we not get in this setup? But then I was like, right, that's when I started.
It helps that they're hungry for it. Keith, what about yourselves? How have you found coming into the setup?
To be honest, we're making it up as we go along, to be honest, and that's what it's felt like all along. You know, every stage is having to learn something brand new and brand, you know, even to the extent actually, and I think we were sort of slightly surprised that we came into the league and we hadn't played football. Whereas your boys had all been farmed out places and they've been playing other places. Our team hadn't played, other than turning up to training, we hadn't actually played a game of football for 18 months. And I think that became really obvious really early. So we've taken a view, 4 quarters, so there's 4 games to play against everybody. First quarter, just get the hang of it, somehow get a team together, which we all struggled with, to be honest, over that period. Second quarter, let's just consolidate and then see what happens in the second half of the season. In a sense, for us, that's our target is, right, get ourselves first half of the season to set up, second half of the season, let's work on it. Let's see what we're really like, what we can really achieve, you know. And I think we're trying to be realistic, you know. The boys are loving it, they're loving the football. We're hating playing really well for 70 minutes and then somehow chucking it. We're not good at winning. we've been ahead in so many games this season and drawn or lost or.
I appreciate you winning against us though.
Well, yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, no, yeah,
That's
but
naive,
yeah.
because how young the
Oh no,
boys are.
completely and utterly. In fact, I wasn't there at the weekend, as we mentioned, but you guys played us, and the feedback I got from my son, who was playing, was we just after 70 minutes whenever it was you scored your first goal, when we were 2-1 up.
Aye.
It's almost the heads went down instead of just playing football like you would do if you're experienced.
Yeah.
You know, and they just struggled with that a wee bit. And I think our oldest boy's 23, and we've only got our senior player is 23.
See for me, that's just that.
Sorry, I tried to stretch out there. There's an old cinema trick.
I came down and watched the first game you played against each other. We didn't have a game, and I came down and watched. It was actually a really enjoyable game.
Yeah.
And I think 4-2 flattered yous a bit that day. Yous were, for me, first half better side. Yous came right in there. Yous got the man centre half, and yous were right in top, and it kind of went. Yous got it back to 2 each, and yous were really, really good. And I brought my mate down with me, and my mate didn't really play much football and doesn't know a great deal about our level. Loving the game, he's like, oh, Ham the Row. He knew who they were, he's an Erskine boy, he knew who they were, but he's like, Ham the Row going to win this. And it looked that way. But what yous have got, and even when yous beat us, because we spoke about this, well, we were a better side that day, yous have that experience and that know-how just
You
to
can
get
finish
out
a
of the
game.
line.
You know how to finish a game. We've not got that yet.
It's pals, I know. I think
Aye,
you've
that
got a
helps.
lot of group of pals, and
That helps,
Brian,
big
you've
time.
won Scottish Cup, so you'll know better than me, mate. But just that boys that have played together and they're all pals, and you would run through a brick wall, and that never say die attitude. Whereas
I think that's number one. See, we get that. I think it's hard to get that. No often you get that in a dressing room.
That's maybe the difference, Keith, at this level. When you were probably, they were probably playing, if it was their under 21s, if they were all so young, they could concede a goal and it would be then 2-1, but they can go, we've got good quality, we'll go and get a third or a fourth. Whereas you're going, they're a decent outfit, we're playing the even men in that and
we had
all.
that
Maybe.
same, you know, I was chatting, Archie, who's the coach on Saturday. I mean, I was chatting with Archie today actually, and I said that's exactly what we said. Is that is that we just don't have. If we were 2-0 up and went 2-1, you'd probably just kick on and win the game in an under 21s game or under 19s game. But there's something about almost, oh my God, we've lost that goal, and we got cold feet, or we started. You guys stepped up a level. We took the back foot. Whatever it was. It changed. The whole attitude changed, and
definitely.
and we'll get used to it.
You could see it happening.
Yeah.
You could see it since the first goal went in. You could see it. It was about 48 minutes early on the second half, so you just
The whole thing turned.
You could see it.
But that's part of the experience. Listen, it's a development league. That's the reason it's a development league. We're there to learn how to operate at this level. Players and coaches.
You looked at Barron yourselves in Kilsyth. We've all been very much guilty of losing games that probably shouldn't have lost. I mean, we won with the first 3 and lost 4 in a row after that.
That's right.
And that's not we weren't getting carried away at all, but it was like we're going to be all right. And then we lost that late goal against Jews, last kick of the ball, the own goal. Then we lost a late goal against Jews. Hart Hill, we lost a late goal. Kilsyth, we lost a late goal, and it's like
3-2, 3-2, 2-1.
it was
But
just
they're close games though.
Oh no, very.
That's a good thing.
That's something we could say. Every game we've
Sometimes,
lost,
but they're
it's 5-1.
harder to take, man.
That's true.
Sometimes
That's true.
I'm not. You're not saying you want to get a doing,
You
but
prepare
sometimes
yourself.
you're sitting going, right, they've beat us comfortably. We were off at boil, not. But sometimes they like
I
goals.
think
Or
that's
killers,
what
man.
makes this league exciting and good,
Yeah.
because even though you're not taking the scores, the teams are quite even.
Yeah.
I would say mostly all the way through, and being fair.
See, even BSC, even though they took a couple of downs, I know we took 8 out of them. I don't think they're quite as bad as it's shown. I just think it's maybe a naivety
bad day.
they've had where they fell apart against us late on and we just ran out of the tap.
Done the same against us. We were 1-0 up, couldn't get a second goal. As soon as we got the second, I think we scored 3 in 5 minutes.
Aye, that's
just
pretty much what we were like.
imploding
There isn't like, I didn't see Campbelltown, but I remember them for amateurs, and you're like, they can be stuffy, they can be difficult to beat, you know what I mean? There's no like anybody's a million miles away from anybody else. You know what I mean?
Who's been away to Campbelltown?
We've got this weekend.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
And then we're
What
going
my
in 2
games
weeks.
off, Keith? Can you take
Then
me
we're going in
away?
2 weeks. We've got space in the bus.
Is there? I said, I would hope there's a space, even if you had to throw me in the boot into the fucking into the kit, me, I would get in there.
Campbelltown had my back in and can't go.
Our boys are
You
actually
don't have to, man. Your
awful.
missus is like, your missus is said to you, man. Mrs. McTaggart's going, you're stupid. You're not going to Campbelltown with the boys. Like, kid on, you fucked your back.
Campbelltown and actually gave my messy, but you're kind of.
I mean, you put me in a back brace, got to Campbelltown. I still go, who's taking my drink for the doing my cup?
Lying on a board.
We're there this weekend, and then we're there in 2 weeks' time for the cup again.
God, he's a fortune, he's getting a
That's what I was
bus,
about to
Keith.
say.
Like 500 quid a bus.
Because I imagine, again, I know.
Is the boys getting on it, Keith, for the chat? Is that the chat? They having a wee team day out?
They definitely were.
No comment.
Young boys, that's the thing. The young boys, but ain't they, Brian? They'll be going to hit places to tune that, whereas we're not into that now.
I just don't want to know.
Aye, brilliant, man. I love watching it. I love watching the videos.
No, that's not the best
Day
thing
jobs
at
have
all.
been fair to them.
But we know, even on that, that's I'd say a wee issue that we have at our level. Campbelltown will be really difficult because they need to do it every second week, but we don't have much money at all, and I imagine you guys are the same. It's a lot of money to be.
Absolutely.
A
It's
couple of
costing
times
us
a
a grand just to go to Campbelltown for an away game.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of money. And I appreciate Campbelltown if they did it every second week, but in a sense, they knew the score coming in.
Did you not see theirs at the weekend? Maybe see. So they obviously take their cars now. And a boy broke down it. So Hame, the boy broke down it.
90 mile and had to get a taxi.
Had to get a taxi. So they put it up on the Twitter page to say, any chance of donations.
But how much was it?
See, being I don't know.
90 mile journey.
90 mile journey. That's they jump at that.
Yeah, if it was wee Davy Gregg in the taxi, I'd charge him. Yeah, do you own that? You just got you were talking about a taxi. We were at a rock night out, just came into my head there, so I was talking about a taxi, and then his wee Davy's name popped up. Team night out, and it was in Mr. Singh's. We're all like, Davy, start ferrying us down to Merchant City. Right, and he's going, aye, no bother. So we're all thinking, the gaffer of the club, man, starts putting us in, mate. So we're about 7 hours in a taxi, man. Windies are all steamed up, man. Wee Davy's got a wee tiny wee bitties out, and he's taking us down to Merchant City. And we got down to Merchant City, and he's like, 20 quid, boys. He's gone, 20 quid, and he goes, do you think I'm doing this for nothing? I've got a meter on, use their fine and that. I was like, unbelievable.
I was surprised it didn't charge us that day we had them on.
God help that boy, man, 90 mile. But
I know it's.
my cat's good, you go that, Keith, you there for it?
Of course.
Good.
I wouldn't be missing that one.
Of course. There's a golf course over there.
I'm going to go for this weekend, so the Campbelltown run.
Superb.
Brian, how have you found your season so far? Well, it's evident you have played 11, won 9, lost 2, scored 29, conceded 12, 27 points, joined top of the league, three goals off a co-side at the top of the league. How have you found it so far?
I still don't think we've hit our best, to be honest. I think we've done it in games, in periods. We've just done enough to win in games. We've no 90-minute games, or even 70 minutes. We've no dominated for long periods. And that's a bit disappointing for me. So I think we're good enough to dominate, but it's just not happened. And that's been... I know we've been winning games, but a lot of the games I've not been happy. Not been happy. Aye, and the boys know it.
What type are you? Are you because see, to be fair, when we played Jews, both of us were quite mellow that day. We had a couple of wee laughs and everything together. But what are you like once you're in the dressing room with them?
I can be angry, man. I can be.
I
Kick
can see
things
it.
and throw things. And a couple of times I've done it this year, even against Glencairn. They're I wasn't expecting it and get a result against them. But just some of the decisions the boys were doing was just threatening me. I've turned around and kicked a boat and I missed a boy's seat about that. And the dugout, I was like, sorry, just a reaction.
Never apologise to a player.
I know, but you don't want to hit me a ball and he's just sitting in a dugout, he's not even playing. But I think it was the period I wanted to take control of my minutes in games. You're never going to run a game for 90 minutes. But I think we're good enough to take control for 70, 80 minutes, even some games.
The good thing is, Brian, for me on the outside is you're sitting in a good position, you know what I mean? And you're still expecting more and wanting more for the team, so bode well. Because I think boys, now that it's cut down to the Saturdays, we've been talking about this before, that there's no worries midweek, where you can get into them at training and the use will be the same, boys. You can work on things and get them up to scratch and a lot of different things that the performances and the runs and taking control of a game might happen there.
I think that's again something we spoke about. Is we started off, I did a lot of work defensively, that's the stuff I quite enjoy when I'm coaching, and we started to improve quite quickly and stop losing goals, because pre-season we were losing a stupid amount of goals. And then the midweek,
decided to take really easy friendlies, but
taking your Clyde Banks and all that was.
What do you mean Clyde Bank, man? Ashfield Scuddages.
be fair, we did take an easy friendly.
That was easy.
You remember you got a dodgy back here,
He's shaking that shit and didn't he stands up there.
He's doing well. He's doing well.
Yes, mate, he's getting
At least he's
through.
not got that purple polo shirt on.
I'm leaning
But we started to get a lot of time on the training pitch with him. Defensively got better for 3 or 4 games. Then the midweek games hit, and it started to revert back to type. Because you know what it's like, boys will always revert back to type if they don't have that consistent training and getting instructed on what to do. And now, like Dak says, again, we spoke about it before, this is an important time now where you'll start to see what teams are really like. I think you'll maybe, in the next maybe 2-3 months, the league will take proper shape and you'll see where everybody is, because you have that time to work with your team and boys are not playing 2
Boys
games
are
a
still
week
going
or
away, but it's Dane
that's the thing.
Creamfields.
People missing
Half the team
Creamfields.
at Creamfields.
We got a goalie who ended up getting COVID at Creamfields, so he missed last week against Farnleywood. And I'm sitting going,
Campbelltown.
Aye.
going,
Wipe up
what-
us
what-
for
we
that,
got
That
10
happened to you.
COVID at Campbelltown.
scary,
So
man.
So that's your excuse when we play using
What
Saturday.
you're going to do,
we're-
Taggy, now that Bolgin's moved away for assistant
I've
gaffer?
already plans in place, mate.
Have you?
Yeah, easy to
Good, mate.
replace. I've replaced him already.
Good.
No, being fair,
A big cone, man, you've replaced him, man.
well, hopefully one that doesn't talk. Do you know what I mean? No, and being fair, Paul spoke regarding it, and I know his situation, I know what it's like.
Aye.
It's murder. We've all got jobs that we need to work when we need to work, and a family life as well. It takes a lot. Plus, you guys have got this, which is going to
Oh, don't remind us, man.
through
Mrs. Jack's on my case, constant.
which is going to get through the roof, I'm sure, at some
aye.
point in time for you. So, he came to me and I knew when he'd phoned that day, because he never phones me during the day. So I came out for work and I'd seen a missed call, and you know what? It's hard, because Brian was saying earlier on, you're wanting more coaching staff, and we still needed more when Paul was there. My thinking was at that time take another 2 on. You know what I mean? Then Paul had to step aside, which is fine. Gavin, the other coaches here, Gavin's stepping up to the assistant manager role because he's good enough to do it. But again, then you need to still replace with another.
Aye.
I still need another 2 coming.
I heard you done your back with picking a Magnum bottle of champagne up in PG, so I stepped in like,
Dancing about the house, they done it.
Oh, yes.
But
That's
it's
hurtful.
Nah, it's just fair play, innit? You've got to do what's best for the club, mate.
That is what it is. Keith, how have you found your season so far? You've kind of touched on it a bit there, saying you're doing it in quarters. Now you're going into the
Second quarter.
The second quarter. How have you felt it going so far?
Listen, I think we've kind of talked about it already. The teams, we've got a great bunch of guys, right? Great bunch of boys. If we actually got them all on the pitch at the right time, at the same time, it'd be fantastic. I hesitate to say it, but actually looks like we've actually got good availability this weekend for the first time. So maybe it's just because it's an away trip to Campbelltown. No, exactly. Keep them off on Friday night. But whatever happens, it looks like there's a good bunch of boys actually. So you're actually going to have a good mix, a good structure. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. They're enjoying it. That's what matters to me. You know, we're getting people turning. We're not paying money to anybody. You know, they're turning up to training. They love being part of it. They love socialising with each other after the football on a Saturday night. You know. What else is there? You know,
It doesn't matter what level you're at, man. See, when you've got that, then you'll be on to a winner, innit?
Yeah.
A winner with
So we
that.
were talking about the social club. Have we got that? I wouldn't have to make train a
You do,
Friday.
yeah. It's the gaffer that you want to put
I
the
know.
other than the players, know what I mean?
They'd have a wee office, wouldn't have a gaffer's office, they'd have a divorce lawyer's
right.
office in there and all, just
could
to
easily
do any
happen.
stuff in
Aye,
there.
it's...
Look, Keith, you have played 10, won 4, drawn 2, lost 4, scored 25, conceded 22 with 14 points. So that kind of says you have been very much hit and miss this season so far.
well, the concessions. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at it, and we conceded more goals than anybody else in the league, even though we were 4th at one stage.
Aye.
And I was thinking, something's not working here.
Aye.
You know, but actually, to be fair, we've only just got a centre back. You know, we've had 2 people playing at centre back who don't ever play at centre back. So we've had to kind of switch it around, change it around, just to kind of get us to this stage of the season.
Yeah.
We've now got the players coming back, and hopefully that settles things down a wee bit, and we'll see what happens. We're scoring plenty.
That's like
We're scoring plenty.
a wee bit. You'll be a good watch, but then Keith, because he's conceding goals and scoring goals, it's a bit like us, man. We get a 1-0 and we get a 4-0 with back-to-back clean sheets. But see, apart from that,
Nah, uses.
yeah, we let 4 in on Saturday, but before that, we're winning games 4-2, 4-3, 3-2,
Exciting.
5, 6-2.
Watch.
Even when we won 10-2 against Dalry, it was like 10. But let's try and shut the back door and it's murder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just for MD watching us, by the way, we're talking about like Saturday and stuff. This episode has been recorded 2 weeks before it's coming out, so Finnart and St Peter's playing at the weekend. You'll have all known by then. The league could be quite a bit different by the point this comes out. But I've watched yous 3 times, and you know I actually really enjoy watching these. I think that there's a lot of. It's a very young side. I think there's a lot of naivety in the team, but I think that yous are a good team to watch. And I have enjoyed. I really enjoyed the game. I came to watch both yous play. I thought it was excellent. Yeah. My mate, complete neutral. Loved the game, you know what I mean?
After the game, didn't it? That was a good
Yeah,
game.
absolutely.
You could tell after that was a good game.
It
And
was.
we just stole it.
It was because this thing. I mean, it was 2 each up to 5 minutes to
I
go
think
or
we
something.
scored with 2 minutes to go to make it 3-2.
And then injury
That's right,
time, wasn't
yeah,
it?
that's
Then we
right.
scored an injury time to make it 4-2.
But see, the thing is, see for Dak's brilliant for this with the champions, our level for people to come watch. There's a lot of good players. There's a lot of bad mistakes happen, but that makes it better for people to come and watch.
Yeah.
Because you look at the amount of. I'm looking here. I've got some results written down for games that we've been involved in against each other, in games of lost and stuff, and every game has somebody scored at least 4 goals in them. You know what I mean? Great for people to come and watch, and that's what it's about. To be honest, with people coming.
You know what, to watch a stalemate and listen, you get good stalemates, you can get a good game that's a nut niche and it's had lots of things happening but just no goals. But you want to go and you want to see goals, you want to see mistakes. People pine in, want to see people getting sent off, they want to see people getting booked, they want to see tackles flying in, they want to see.
I just think it's good football. I mean, genuinely, I look at all the teams. I mean, there's very few just long balls punted up the pitch. People are trying to play football, and that's a huge difference from kind of what I expected, to be honest. I kind of expected more of that old-fashioned junior football
You
type
might get
thing.
more of that once you're out of this.
Well,
league, to
maybe,
be fair.
but I actually think we're playing. There's a lot of good football being played.
Especially in different parks when you go to some of these parks.
That's a
tight
good
on that.
thing. See, all the teams have got good parts. We're playing it.
Well,
And that's a major
I
thing
made
for
the
our
comment
boys.
to our boys about it before I stepped back. Was only one team plays on grass,
It's Campbelltown.
and it's a good
that's
grass park.
good grass park.
So you know that our games are on all the time, and alright, some will complain about the Astro, their knees, whatever, but you know games are going to be on and you can play football on them. It's not like you're going down to
To
certain
be
parks.
honest
and
with
it's
you, a lot of
horrible.
the younger generation,
grew up
that's
with
what they've grew up with.
Aye.
We were probably all red ash parks and that, not mean, and that's what we were. So you go into an Astro and you think, because we were all suckers for grass parks probably. But we remember back in the day, man, I was playing in going to red ash and remember it.
It's just what you did, wasn't it?
Our
It's
home
just
park
what
was
you
Crown
So-
Point, Radash.
I just don't think players realise how lucky they are. And I think, and I know we're talking to PG not, and I know, but obviously Brian and Keith, I know the two Finnart and Harmony Row are very good clubs, so the boys are going to get pure looked after well. Best of training gear, training on the Astro twice a week, games on the Astro and that. I don't think really money, man, you're not going to make, unless you go and play at the highest level, at this level, where some of the teams pay well and it would make a decent difference.
What's the
then
point of
What's
that?
the
just
point?
go and play, man.
That's
Go and
my
play,
thing.
go and enjoy it. Go and play football, you know what I mean?
If you enjoy it and you're with a bunch of boys, then that's the main thing for me.
Definitely.
If somebody wants £30 a week and want to go with somebody else and not enjoy football, I don't see the point in it. But that's my take on it.
Is that money going to drastically change your life? You know what I mean?
Aye.
I've been at both ends of the
People's
spectrum.
circumstances are different,
Aye, of
obviously,
course.
do you know what I mean? Some people might not even have a job and all that, do you know what I mean?
Aye,
And
but
any
then that
bit
makes difference,
they helps. But at the same time, man, I think like the memories you want to make, that was always for me. I didn't ever get offered big money to go anywhere else, but I always stayed where I was
That was my
enjoying it
main
and
reason.
amongst the good boys.
When I was playing Michael Afton, only done a year there. My main reason was to go and play my part.
We'll see.
Amateur, just
I played on both ends of the spectrum at junior football. I had a wee stint in the Premier League and stuff and got paid decent money, and then I enjoyed it much more. Like I've spoke about it at length on this, where I played at the Port, never get paid, and I loved it there. I was the best I've ever enjoyed my football. It was reasonably close to my house. A group of guys I liked.
Yeah.
The manager liked me, and it was just I enjoyed playing there, and that's some of my best memories is playing there, as opposed to playing at Cumnock at times, and I was in and out the team and I'm getting decent money for it, but it just wasn't the same. I didn't play football for money.
Aye.
It was-
Who's the
what you
hangman? Who's the? Like, I know you. Have you got questions, then?
No, fair
No.
enough.
Who's the players? Who's the big characters and all
I'll
that
tell you
in
what,
that
we'll
level?
let Paul answer because both have answered how the season's gone so far, and then we'll come back to
Aye,
that.
I'm not looking at putting out there for other teams to
Dak
come in
wants
and
to know
swoop.
so he can come in and get him.
He's already spotted one, boy.
We can offer them. We can offer
You're
them.
offering more than we can.
You know what I mean?
See, we,
I can
don't
offer a
have any.
Mr.
I don't have any, that's it. Right, next
I know the boy McCall is maybe a bit like daft in there.
He's not a man.
No, I know the man, but a daft, isn't he? I like daftness,
be
man.
fair,
I like.
Macaulay, you're right, he's a... I love the
daft,
fact we're
isn't he?
talking about him now as well. We're just,
Aye,
you know what I mean? He
yeah.
just doesn't get around that
Characters.
size even again here.
No, it's like the characters. I like to hear about the characters, not just the best players, the characters.
No, he's obviously the mouthpiece of the team.
Aye.
Because he obviously doesn't get talking in the house. We spoke about before on it, and he keeps it going. But it's about sometimes knowing when to stop it. Do you know what I mean? That's the times when.
See if somebody doesn't crack Macaulay in our team this year.
That's it.
I'll be very surprised.
I'll be surprised, but let alone anybody else in any other team, I'll be surprised. But no, he's a good boy, and being fair to him, he's a good boy, and he raises up and on, and he's always up for it and stuff. And so, but decent. As in any really good players that you can look at. No, mate, I don't have any sort of that.
Big Field.
Big. Kieran's been really good.
He's
been really good.
Well for us,
You're looking at for on that question because like I know both your teams. I've seen them multiple times now with good players. We've got like I put it a young Jay Lunny. You know what I mean? It's 18-year-old, and for me, boys will know who he is in the next 5 or 6 years.
He's phenomenal.
Jay's
the past
a
2
very
games.
good player.
Phenomenal.
You know what I mean? He wants his arse kicked. To be fair, the amount of times if something doesn't happen, he turns around and goes, "What about that? What about that?" You're like, Jay, the game's there, mate.
Right.
Go and play. But no, he's a special talent.
I know
for the
you
level.
speak highly of him. It's no for other teams to come through because at the end of the day,
Don't think that about me, anyway.
that's what I was going to say. I was mentioning him
and
here,
being fair,
but
but
players always like to get a wee shout out on things like this, don't they?
He left a really good team
He
to
did,
come to
aye.
us for on a purpose. He wanted to play at this level.
Aye. Aye.
And he loves it. He wants to learn, and as Paul said earlier on, he's his own worst enemy because he falls out with and
He'll
stuff.
learn,
And
he's
the
young,
best thing
isn't
we've done was move him into the middle because he's that far away, he can't talk to us,
I
isn't
can't
he?
talk to us.
You know what I mean?
Other wing.
But he's been the past 2
That's
weeks.
good to know for Saturday.
Don't give me your
See the way he's
secret.
gone, he's playing a fullback. But no, it's he's been phenomenal. He's been one of the ones that's
Really exciting watching him, to be honest.
Aye.
It's like, as I'm saying, that genuinely I've really enjoyed watching your team, and I like watching the younger players, and you're like,
Aye.
it's good to see
A
young
bit of no
talent
fear in it
coming through.
and go on and playing a bit off the cuff in it.
Aye, it's good to see. I mean, the thing is, it's looking at this. What you Finnart, he's beaten Ham in a row twice in 2 very tight games, 2 high scoring games. It's very good games to go and watch. When we lost to Kilsyth, 1 goal in it, high scoring. We lost to yourselves, 1 goal in it. That was quite a low scoring game, to be fair. But even that, it's looking back at your games, Keith, you have lost to Glenvale, you have lost twice to Finnart, and you have lost to where is it? Kilsyth.
Yeah.
So you are kind of similar to us. You have lost to the teams up there.
We have, yeah.
Aye, so it's hard to take, I suppose, because you are almost exactly the same as us with the way it's gone for you. How's it felt for you losing to these teams? How have you reacted with the boys? Have you kind of been hard on them, saying, look, if you want to win this, you have to be beating these sides, or is it just that's where we want to get to?
No, I mean, I don't see any point in being hard on the boys that are on the pitch trying their backsides out. You know, when there's only, and I can't go back to each individual game, but I reckon we've probably had 9 or 10 signed players at each of these games and 2 or 3 trialists at each of these games to make up numbers because we've had so many injuries. And then, you know, even that first game we played against you, I mean, the heart and soul of our team, and if you want to shout out for a player,
Good player.
heart and soul of our team, the captain, Greg Murphy, shout out.
There we go, Craig. Here you go, Craig.
No, but then that's his cruciate gone. He's out for 9 months. He's got
is
his
he?
operation on Monday. In the middle of that game, and the game changed. The minute he came off,
I've known me.
the heads went down.
Good
The
player.
boys are working.
Get well soon, wee man. Then,
definitely.
get
No,
well
but
soon.
he's great. But he's still at training. He still comes training twice a week with us.
Yeah,
He was,
He's still there.
he was assistant manager on
He
Saturday.
was assistant
He done
manager.
the
of
line.
Saturday.
He
Does he?
he done the lines
Super.
for
Yeah.
That's a great
Greg, I get it one.
I can't wait, is he?
22.
Oh,
22,
21.
man.
21.
21 and he's already been an assistant gaffer. Paul
Yeah.
Maxwell, get a finger in it.
I tell you what, he's got a wee Harmon and Row tattoo as well.
Is he?
There's a man he's dedicated
That's
to the
an
cause.
Ibiza number,
showed me
innit?
a night out.
Did he as well?
Is that an Ibiza holiday, innit? That's a holiday
There's
number.
one or 2 other ones as well.
Aye.
But let's not go there.
I've known me
Not me.
Greg since he's been a kiddie because he grew up up our area and not just a good football player but all
Good boy.
round good boy.
Good.
everything he does. I can't listen. He's no my player, so I don't need to speak highly of him. But I can't speak highly enough for the boy. He's honestly, he's absolutely brilliant. So, as we say, good luck and one day with your operation, pal, and get well soon.
But you'll still be up in Campbelltown with us.
Aye. You still dance with crutches anyway.
That's just somebody that's hit the ball.
He'll be back. He'll be back by the start of next season.
Brilliant. That's good. Hopefully everything goes well with him. Yous have lost to Harthill and Kilsyth, so we've all lost to Kilsyth, who sadly we don't have anybody on for them to speak to us tonight. But what's your reaction been to the games you lost? Because you
Kilsyth deserved to beat us that day.
Aye.
The first half we were poor and they dominated us first half. They pressed us really well. They pressed really high. We tried to play for the back and they dominated, to be honest. All the part wee mistakes were could have been 2 or 3, I think. They could have been beating us in the first half. Second half we just changed it and went long and played horrible football.
Aye.
Sometimes you have to do it. And we probably dominated the second half, but they deserved to win, to be honest. They deserved it. Wasn't in Harthill, first half again we could have been 2-3 up. They conceded a goal in the 47th minute and it gave them something to hold on to. Then after that I don't think we created much after that. As soon as they sat back 10 yards we struggled to break them down, to be honest. So I want nothing to
I love it, man. I love it. Speaking to the boys, they're very very honest about it, do you know what I mean? There's no sugarcoating it, you know what I mean? It's like, we weren't good enough or we need to learn or whatever, do you know what I mean? Rather than pulling out excuses, you know what I mean? And it's good to hear.
They done well to hold on before creating a chance after they went 1-0 up. So.
Sometimes you need to see a game through. That's a team, I mean, this year I've not seen them, but it's a team that surprised me this year where they've played 9, won 3, drawn 1, lost 5, almost scored 13 goals in their 9 games. Again, conceded 16, which in terms of our league isn't that bad, but they've surprised me, like we said earlier. I thought they were going to come in and really...
Would you say scored 13?
Aye.
That's their issue then, isn't it?
Is it? They don't score a lot of
enough goals.
I think the boy that plays up front for them has been missing quite a bit as well and been fair.
Is that
a wee centre forward. I think he's been sent off a couple of times maybe, and they've missed him for the games, and that's when the problem been, because by all accounts I think the boys are decent.
That's the thing, I think to be honest with you, you'll be the same as us. See, as soon as you've got 2, 3, 4 of your best players or better players not available, you struggle in it. It's like struggle. We had a few of them missing for Saturday against Forneywood. I know, as PG said, this is out a wee bit later, and you could tell, you can see it. Do you know what I mean? But I think they were in the same boat and they were much better than the day. I think I've said it multiple times anyway. They deserved that, but I just don't think that where we are, and I'm classing Ashfield as well in that. I think that when you're missing bigger players, it's very, very difficult. You don't have the depth that some of your bigger clubs. I mean, you look at, like we spoke about the Talbot Cumnock game in the roundup at the weekend there, and you look at
a bench.
They're bringing shankers and stuff on, you know what I mean? But boys have had senior experience coming on and making a big difference, you know what I mean?
I looked at their bench, in fact, because they do not have Ali Partner at the bench and all that. I'm sitting going, wow, man, they've got Scottish Cup medals right through the bench.
Boys that walk into every other team in the country, you know what I mean, our level. That is a difference, because it's something we struggled with.
But that's the nature of the beast, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's what happened to me Saturday. I brought a sub on at half time, scored a hat trick.
Aye. Brilliant.
So, the difference.
Talk about good management. You know what I mean?
Leave him out this week, don't bring him on at all.
We Craig Johnson, he's played a bit.
Brilliant.
Funnily enough, my son who was playing on the park said that to me. He said the boy that came on, the centre forward, came on, he said, change the game. Change the game.
See, that's the thing, there is quality at this level. It shows that
whoever he came off for, man, is not going to be happy.
Sorry.
You know what I mean?
I wasn't there.
No, it was more the boy that came off that changed the game. It was that bad, he changed the game. How have you found it, the games we've lost, where, you know, my view, and I'll get after you, Day, we've lost to both yourselves and Kilsyth and Harthill as well. Harthill for me was a bit different. We were just unbelievable bare bones that night. How have you found it?
It's even fair, I'm more frustrated, and again we spoke about it earlier on, it's like the 3-2, 3-2, 2-1, 3-2. So we're not losing by that many, but again it's individual mistakes that have been causing it, or indecisiveness. And nobody goes out, you've heard me in the dressing room saying it to them, nobody goes out to have a bad game or make a mistake or play a bad pass. So we try not to go on for it, and sometimes it's hard because the mistakes that we've made that's cost us games are so basic that you're like, you teach them that at a young level. But I think that some boys at this level know coping with a step up or whatever it may be, and that might be the issue there. And it's been frustrating for us because I think every game that we've lost, I've not been at 2 of them, and we've watched them back when they've been recorded. They've been tight games, but they've all been good games. Again, as we spoke earlier on, they've been tight games. Our game against Harmony Row, 3-2, 10 men each, and both teams are still trying to play football. There wasn't any runners, and there wasn't any clear runners at any of the games to say, you know what, they definitely deserved it. Or see if we'd have took a point in every game that we've lost, I don't think we could have grumbled at that point, if you know what I mean. It's one of the ones.
It's the fine margins, Paul, isn't it?
Because it definitely is.
We look back in it and on. In our games, we get beaten Saturday was disappointing, but we're still only 3 points off the top 4. But we were beating Greenock in the last couple of minutes. Greenock have scored to equalise. We were beating Glasgow United in the last couple of minutes. They've scored, and then we've drew with Ardale, where by all accounts we should have scored near the end. We were the better team, and you think to yourself, a couple of the games, if you just flipped it a wee bit and we just took the 3 points rather than a point, then we would have been in the top 4 and all that in a much different position. So it's a fine margins, isn't it? But what I did get for what you said there was, you've not been at 2 of the games you lost, so it's all PG. It's all PG and Gav's fault. PG and Gav's fault.
I picked the team and the boys just done what they've done. But see, not just putting it down to the defensive mistakes as well, we create a hell of a lot of chances. And I mean a hell of a lot of chances, and we've not converted them. So I can't just say the boys at the back, if it or whoever's made the mistakes, it's on them. It's not. It's a team collective on it, and the chances that we've created, you think to yourself, really? Do you know what I mean? How can you not?
I actually think that's probably. I mean, I've never seen so many goals missed.
Yep.
You know, boys hitting off the post from 3 yards out and putting over the bar, and you kind of. It's frustrating for them. I mean, they're not trying to put it over the bar. Let's be honest, you know. But it is tough.
But you just want to grab them and give them a shake sometimes. And,
so what do you think? Do you think Mary? I know you want to win it this year, Brian, and that as well, and obviously Harmony Row you want to pick up, and St Peters, you win your games in Hon, you're not a million miles away. Are you looking more as this first season, you want to win the league? No, I think maybe next season and all it'll be a much different kettle of fish next season and that as well.
Aye, well,
you obviously want to win it. It's the first one, you want to win the league.
That's the season I said to the boys, we want to go and win this. It's you don't. Anything we enter, we'll try and win.
It shows how much me and Dak in the sync. I literally just wrote league next, and then he just said it. It shows we're in sync, mate. See on this, right, it's something I wanted to speak to you about. Obviously, we've all had the meetings, and we've been told that only certain teams who meet the criteria can go up, which you have got you be able to do it for next season.
That's the plan,
right? You won't. And we won't.
Depends if we get everybody except Springburn what we've done up there.
Right.
Because obviously we've done the netting and we've got the sponsors round to cover the park, and it's got the barrier and stuff. There's only a couple of wee things we have to do. Right. So it depends if that reaches it.
See for me, because that was the talk was at the time you were possibly only looking at Hart Hill, Campbelltown and yourselves who had the potential of going up regardless of where you finished.
Is that for this season?
Aye, for this season.
Is it?
Right, but until you've got your own part in place, which for us it could be a few years.
I thought it was the second season.
No, it's until it's supposed to be ready. But that's where I have nothing. This is based on nothing. I wondered if the West maybe thought we'll put this criteria in place to see how many teams can see through the year.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if next year they just start putting everybody into like the Bolton level or whatever. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know.
I think what the West will worry about probably is upsetting the other teams. Not I mean,
I think that was to get in there. That's how it had to go separate. But I think they were annoyed if we came into it and went a division and end up we end up finishing fourth or third.
That's how he's unfortunate, Brian, because look at the drum. The drum literally can win the league and they'll be in the top division next season.
That was one of my reasons I went for. So I actually phoned. I know JB well, John Black and Hope. I phoned JB. And I said, how did you do that? I just out of blue, Glasgow Uni. Because we played Glasgow Uni 2 weeks before, next minute came out there in. I was like, what's happening here?
How's that happened?
How's this happened? I didn't know. St Caddick, it came from nowhere. And I didn't know there's an opportunity to happen.
St Caddick's they could go right in that top division. Whereas you might need to play that for a year or two before you can have the criteria.
They're saying that ground sharing we're not allowed to go up because we've got to be
I
ground share.
don't think that's right. I personally don't think that's
Aye.
right. If you can
Because
do
Brentford could be
it,
the
if the
ground
conferences can do it, and the Premier League can do it.
Aye.
What that's put in place, I think you're right. See the sustainability of the teams that were there, because before we started Western Pool out,
So did, aye.
so that took us down for 98, and I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. It might be a year to see if we can be sustainable throughout with basically everything. Your football, how your crowds are, how your behaviour is. Are you financially stable? Are your park okay? And if it is, they might change it. We don't know.
See, for me, I understand the first year them saying, like, for talking's sake, we all went into separate conferences and finished in the top 5, right? Even though likelihood is that quite low. But say that happened and we end up ahead of a lot of other teams, I can understand that the first year. See, for me, the second year though, these teams who, without disrespect, Irvine Vicks, Royal Albert, Dorai, these teams have all been, some of them haven't won a single game yet, right? They're a quarter of the way through the season, or over maybe a third of the way through the season, no won a game. That's teams that we're better than some of them.
Oh, it's
and
hard,
that's what, no, but the thing is, why should our teams who...
Because a team shouldn't get put, like, a
But I'm not
team's
saying we
going
should be ahead of
to
them.
they're going to hang me for one bad season.
No, but the thing is, they're going to be in the bottom league, right? Where they should be based off of their results. That's where I think the teams like us should be able to go into the same league as them, because they've no earned to be higher than that. They've been bottom, potentially the teams who haven't won a single game all year. They've no earned to be higher than us anymore, because we've done our year, gave them their place where they could go and see what leagues they would go into. I think that next year we should be able to go in.
To be fair to the league, though, I mean, the league, it was very clear at the beginning of the season.
No.
Before we joined, we knew
definitely
what the rules
Definitely.
were, right? The rules were get your act in order around your pitch, around your your
Definitely.
club. If you do that and you've got a home, you can come into the league next season. So we all came into this knowing that. So we can't. I mean, I'm not. Listen, we've still got a bit of investment to do as well. It's not a foregone conclusion that we'll be there. So there's a bit of work still to be done there. So
I just think that 100% right, they did, and the league have been spot on. This isn't me having a go at the league in any form at all. I think that they're seeing that we're all sustainable, and that we should maybe be able to go into that bottom division now and make it a very, very competitive league, you know what I mean? So it is something.
It would be another hard league to go to, by the way.
Oh, definitely. It would be.
Next year.
It would be really good league. I think that that's a good place to finish us on. We really appreciate you taking your time tonight and coming to speak to us.
Thank you.
Great.
I appreciate you being able to give your clubs a bit of platform and let everybody see
It's
the hard
good, and
work they're doing.
I hope people go out there and watch this just as much as they've watched the other ones, because these clubs are here to stay, in my opinion. They're all got ambition now to push on, as much ambition as the rest is. So hopefully they like what they heard from the boys and get down and watch some Division 4 games as well.
Saturday, New Western Park, us too.
This will
Oh,
wait.
too late at that point.
Too late.
Too late at that point.
You see PG like, I wasn't running the team.
Look, I'd like to thank everybody for watching the episode. Hopefully, like Dak says, you get down and watch these teams at this level, because it is a good level of football. It's exciting to watch. And as always, if you could like the episode and subscribe to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Cheers, Trips.
That's us.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
thank you very much.
I've been trying to stone up for him.
Oh, you tag you, man.